being kind of this conversation between the Emperor and Desmond, and the Emperor has access to these tapes of Desmond on Arrakis, and he gets swallowed up by the worm. And the way it made it seem was that like he was kind of reborn. I guess the thought that it felt like the show was telling me was that he was kind of reborn now with this power of whatever this power is. It seems to be the easiest logical conclusion to jump to.
That's going to be our last conversation, I think, because that's the most fun thing to talk about right now is basically what the deal with Desmond is, because you're right. Like he has that conversation with the Emperor one-on-one, and the Emperor implies, like in almost a joking way, like I'll become religious if this everything works itself out. Right. And you can kind of see Desmond taking that to heart. Like, I'm going to do something about this to make that happen. I don't know if Desmond's goal is to then begin spreading religion, which could be part of it, or he just wants to just fracture what's going on the Emperor's planet. But I thought that was important, that as soon as the Emperor says, like, I'll become religious the second this happens, like Desmond like locked in for a second. And then the next scene we see is him killing Pruitt.
Yeah, it's hard. He seems very anti-sisterhood. He calls them witches. That's, that's check one on any box for anyone that's anti-sisterhood. But is he pro-emperor? That's what
you know, nothing.
I feel like he like is like trying to protect the empire by being anti-sisterhood. But it also feels like he has this supernatural now thing that maybe is a third motivation. You know, there's something with him with this worm.
I didn't catch it the first time.
A lot of these visions were like the swallowing of the, like people getting eaten by the worm, getting swallowed by the worm, and then we see him. It seems like he did get swallowed by the worm. So what happened to him?
That's what I was going to bring up, because I like my first watch through, I didn't clock that it was Desmond, because I was just watching it live and figuring it out. And then the second watch through, it's kind of a little bit more obvious. You see the eyes, right? Like they're like blue, just like his, like kind of look like Desmond's eyes, whatever. I think it's safe to assume that it was Desmond. And what we're dealing with now, I have written down 3 possible options. And I just want to hear what you think about them, because off the top of this episode, I said I was going to bring in 2 lore things. The first was going to be the stuff related to the Great Machine War and like and Brian, his son. The second one is, in modern time of Dune, there are 2 things that exist. I'm being cryptic about it because I'm going to explain in a second, but like I don't know if it exists in the current day of whatever year it is right now, but in the year 10,000, when Paul Atreides is alive and like we're everywhere in the galaxy, there's a species of people that are called face dancers that essentially are shapeshifters. They can take your face for a little bit. There's a small chance that he is a face dancer. The second thing that there is that just exists in the future are these things, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, called ghoulas, like Ghola, and they are essentially reanimated dead bodies with like a different soul in it. That could be either of those things of what we're looking at with Desmond, because like you said, we basically saw him die. I don't know how they would get his body back to make him a Ghula, because it seemed like the sandworm swallowed up. There is a chance that he's a face dancer, because I think you just need a face dancer needs to see you and he can do it. And then the third option is that Desmond is straight up a computer AI. Like he is what the whole society is anti against, just in hiding. He had that connection to basically snipe out the lizard real quick, because maybe he's there. Like, and the only reason the AI thing is just totally random that came to my head, because I'm trying to rationalize what he did to Pruitt, and maybe if he has this sort of technology that's advanced that only he has, because AI has been snuffed out, computers have been snuffed out, maybe he can do something at like a technological level that burns your skin. I am just grasping at straws right now, but that's like, those are the 3 options I'm thinking right now of what explains why the Emperor saw Desmond die, but like he's here.
Once again, I liked all of those words. I think it's hard for me. The default almost is misremembering that magic isn't real, but there is explanations for things that aren't magic. And I liked all of those explanations, and they all feel, obviously they align with the lore. The AI one, like you mentioned, is more than something that you're kind of creating on the fly a little bit more than the concrete lore things of the other 2. So I just don't know, man. I feel so confident that it's not like a simple, it's just like poison. Like if he is the same guy that got swallowed, it's none of those things, then there's some type of, and again, I hesitate to say power, because then that leads almost feels like more like magic, but it's
and that's a thing in the Dune community. It's like the golden rule that there is no magic in the Dune
yeah,
books. I'm not saying that they can't change that, but that
yeah,
is like something that the Dune community prides itself on, that nothing
mhm,
is magic in the Dune universe.
yeah. I'm so stuck on this repeated imagery of Shai Hulud the worm swallowing everyone in the visions and then actually swallowing him, that like
Yeah.
that mechanism seems to be very important.
Either way, like that's like the most
Yeah.
interested concept, like what I'm looking forward to, because like we're like they're gonna find his body and they're gonna talk about it, right? They're gonna be like, "What the hell happened to him?" And maybe the
Yeah.
Emperor has seen something like this in the past, and that'll clue us all in, and like we'll have something to talk
Yeah.
about next episode. But
And I
it's
hope
at this
not. I
point
hope
we
it's a
don't.
mystery.
I hope it's a mystery too, but like there's
Yeah.
nothing we've been told that this could be a possibility, that it is like in the movies or just in the
Yeah.
first episode. So I'm good to leave it at that. It's just
The
something I
Emperor
thought was a great way to end the episode.